never even
Sorry.
thought
I
of
was
it.
so
Never thought.
short notice tonight. I mean, I was so like cutting it close. So.
We're in a race.
I know.
Okay,
You're
7
waiting,
o'clock.
but I'm getting there.
Shall we get up, do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Oh, yeah.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so we're here for the August 2nd meeting where nobody comes to because everybody's away on vacation. And we have all the board members here, so we're waiting for Tom, our town attorney, who's not here yet, but he will be here. We were asked if we could have a presentation tonight on healthy yards, and Mary Ann asked me to make a time for it, so here you are. So start it.
Well, I'd like to introduce Ty Montanarella, who will be doing the presentation on his plain Vanna White for her pap safety.
Okay?
All right, so you can follow with me for the slides. Last time we did this in the village of Pelham, and it was on Zoom, so we kind of prepared it that way. So we're just translating it into a live way. So anyway, thank you for this opportunity. I'm Ty Montanarella. I'm at 464 Esplanade in Pelham Manor, and I recently joined Climate Smart Communities Task Force. I have a healthy yard, and I recently participated in the Healthy Yards Westchester Pollinator Tour. My garden was on the tour to increase awareness about ecological land practices and its exciting possibilities. And I'm pleased to be here to propose that the town of Pelham joins the village of Pelham in adopting a Healthy Yards community campaign. Next slide. So, what is Healthy Yards? Healthy Yards is a nonprofit organization with the main goal to provide information and resources for residents, landscapers, and municipalities to shift from conventional land care to ones that use healthier methods. Next slide. And what does Healthy Yards do? They get their communities engaged and excited about having and maintaining healthy yards. Volunteers organize workshops, events, meetings, garden tours, visits, and an annual Earth Day festival. They work with other organizations for positive change, with Audubon, with Westchester Land Trust, with iNaturalist, with the Native Plant Center, Cornell Westchester, and many other organizations. Healthy Yards encourages and supports independent grassroots activities, very similar to our food scraps campaigning. Next slide. So the Sustainability Advisory Board and Climate Smart Communities Task Force proposed to initiate a grassroots effort to organize a local healthy yard organization, Pelham Healthy Yards. And these are some of the causes they kind of take up. Next slide. So why Pelham Healthy Yards? We have these great resources available to us. Most of us love a beautiful and healthy environment, yet without meaning to, many of us have adopted habits that are harmful to the environment and to our health. Pelham Healthy Yards aims to provide information on a local level through education outreach on ways to create beautiful yards in our neighborhood, in our community, and on public land with simple, important steps. Some of these steps may resonate with you from practices you may have remembered using as a child or your parents did. So they kind of just make sense. So what are these simple steps? Next slide. So mow high and water less. Mowing grass to about 4 inches helps shade out weeds and encourages roots to grow longer. This helps the lawn tolerate heat better and requires less water. Go electric or human-powered, people-powered. Switch to electric or battery-powered yard equipment. It's cleaner, it's quieter, it's less polluting. Go chemical-free. Don't use artificial pesticides or herbicides unless absolutely necessary. Save the natural ecology of the soil and the quality of our drinking water. Use organic fertilizers, again, when necessary and with care. Runoff from chemical fertilizers causes great harm to our streams and ponds. Native plants, shrubs, and trees don't require fertilizers. Mulch grass and leaves. Leaf blowers damage our yards and our health. Leave grass clippings on the lawn and attach a leaf mulching blade to your mowers. Choose sustainable and native plants. Pollinators and birds rely on native plants to raise their young. Plant native perennials also for better drainage, erosion control, and really just for the heritage and sense of place that they provide to any landscape. It's beautiful. Cover and amend the soil naturally. Plant densely to create a living mulch. Remove invasives. Familiarize yourself with the invasive plants in your area and remove them from your property. Healthy Yards aims to help people identify those dangerous or harmful plants. Reduce the size of the lawn. Turf grass provides very few benefits to our ecosystems. So for a more sustainable yard, reducing the size of the lawn and adding beds for planting just supports more wildlife. And then keep it dark. If you place light fixtures in your landscape, make sure they direct downwards so they don't distract wildlife. Next slide. So how do we propose to do Pelham Healthy Yards? Simple. We know the steps now. We're going to create a Healthy Yard pledge and distribute a Pelham Healthy Yard sign to participants who take the pledge and complete some or all of the checklists for healthy yard practices they use. We will provide volunteer staff outreach at Pelham community events and partner with other organizations for support and messaging. The Village of Pelham has signed on, and we believe that the town of Pelham and a municipal endorsement makes the message stronger for all of our residents. Next slide. So how do we take this Pelham Healthy Yards pledge? And this is an example of one. You can practice with me. I commit to maintain a healthy yard that benefits the environment, pollinators, and our well-being by limiting the use of gas-powered equipment, pesticides and herbicides, and by preserving trees and planting native species. Next slide. So once you take this pledge, we have education outreach with brochures and a link to an informational website. You can see an example of something that our committee has designed. So it's has an identity for specific to Pelham, but Healthy Yards with the organization also provides lots of information to personalize with our logos. So you see some examples for those. And next slide, that's another example. All right, so how much for these Pelham Healthy Yards? So we are following a similar model for the messaging costs for the Food Scraps Initiative. The Village of Pelham is hopefully going to contribute $1,000 seed money so that we can begin the campaign. We're hoping to have that matched or contributed to with the town, and also we'll be reaching out to the Village of Pelham Manor as well with Michelle DeLillo. So next one. And who participates in Healthy Yards? The Village of Pelham will be in company with our neighboring Westchester villages and towns, including Bedford, Rye-Neck, Rye, Larchmont, Mamaroneck, New Rochelle, and hopefully, next for us for Pelham. And the next one doesn't come over as well, but this is an image of a conventional yard. I bet there's some practices that you can tell that make it, green, maybe two varieties of plants, not providing as much light as a healthy yard can, so we can see the potential to increase biodiversity, wildlife habitat, and really have the opportunity for homeowners to kind of have their own homegrown contributions to our ecosystems. So at the core of this presentation is the hope that our neighbors will feel inspired and connected to imagine themselves as part of this dynamic environment that they can help create really through these simple steps and just from thoughtful ways for maintaining a healthy yard. So I see it as a positive change.
So what is the ask here?
Dan's a money guy.
Yeah. So there's two things, right? We, we would like your
Endorsement?
the endorsement that we can add the logo, that the Village of Pelham is part of this, the Town of Pelham is part of this, and hopefully that the Village of Pelham Manor is also in on, messaging simple, common sense practices that we can all use for positive changes as we understand the loss of biodiversity through lawns, a single monoculture of lawns, arborvitae, and skip laurels. So, I think a good way to think about this is often when I talk to people about this idea and I say a hummingbird, many people haven't seen a hummingbird, but they remember hummingbirds. And a really simple step for attracting the insects that we may remember is by kind of looking at what we do now and rethinking and refreshing our process. And it's really, change is really hard, and having the endorsement of our land stewards, right, be part of the messaging, feels like a positive step for the village and towns of
So besides the endorsement, what else?
Yeah, so money. So, just these materials, printed materials at least, need a little bit of seed money just to get the messaging out. I was out there for, the food scraps, handing out information, talking to people, and I think that we have enough support, not only from the Village of Pelham, but New Rochelle has recently started a chapter, as well as Larchmont and Mamaroneck, and I think there's enough people who are interested to create a synergy to kind of combine costs as well.
So the cost is how much?
Well, we asked the village for $1,000 for buying brochures.
And the village
and
asked
materials.
me to share in
And the
that.
village would like you to help defray those costs, I think.
Is that what
Or you can
happened?
double it,
That's what
if
happened.
you'd like to do that.
That's what happened, really?
That's what happened.
Yes.
Oh,
Chance thought you would be interested in this project.
And anybody else got questions? Let me not monopolize the conversation.
One of the big expenses is buying the healthy yard signs, so we can give anyone who commits and who signs the pledge a sign to put in their yard, and that sort of helps us spread the message. And we like to give those away to people who want to participate and not make them buy them, so.
I think this would be great if any of the town-owned property, whether it's here at the gazebo or the library, would participate in this, and maybe we could set up a meeting with Phil and the landscapers that we use to find out what that would entail and if it would.
Well, I think you're right, but I think that's where the people should be talking to, the landscapers.
Right.
Well, that was my
And that's what
question.
we help you
Help you
That's
with?
the challenge. Like, I mean, Larchmont and the other towns
Well,
that
this
have done
is
this
community.
they must have run into this, because, not very many people mow their own lawns in this town. So this all falls on the landscapers and landscaping companies.
Well,
There must be and I'm just playing devil's advocate, there must be pushback.
oh, and the landscapers, they definitely know, but there are plenty of people who take care of their own gardens as well. So
No,
our
I-
message is not just going to be to the landscapers, but it's really one of an
Okay.
endorsement of, positive change and ideas. It's not a mandate. It's like,
Right.
hey, you can do this. We support it because we're all land stewards together. So
I mean, so
Yeah.
for instance, what you just brought up, Maura, Dee Ragno handles all of our landscaping. It would be Ragno that would have to agree to this, and I don't think Ragno's gonna agree to human hands cutting the grass.
But we're the ones that employ them. We have a contract with them.
Yeah,
we can
and if you
control
could
some
find me
terms
somebody
and
that's gonna
conditions, right?
hand mow these lawns,
But it's a series
But you
of
can use electric,
steps, right? You
like
don't
my
have to-
husband has an electric mower, like you can use an electric mower, right? Can I just see that? Yeah.
So-
The landscapers aren't
Well,
gonna.
landscapers can't do
I
that.
mean, and,
they're
and
gonna-
I'm all for this. There's a huge, I'm
Yeah.
sure there's like a podcast on like Freakonomics where they're like America's obsession with lawns. I mean, it's like, it's terrible. They're terrible for the environment. So I'm, you know,
So,
but
It's
as
not
a
just replacing one practice with a new tool, right? We're not replacing gas with electric. We're replacing the need to use that leaf blower with a different system. Okay, so there's not gonna be a one-on-one exchange. If you have less grass where you're not sitting, like clearly we need grass, right, for the Durango townhouse, but maybe you don't need it in places that you're currently mowing and blowing. So it's more, and like, maybe you're, instead of blowing the leaves, you're mulching it in place, or you're leaving it in certain beds. So it's really it's a holistic management practice that really takes time, to get behind and know it. But it's also something that's been around, and I have some information for you about other landscapers who, you know, who recognized that this was coming down the pike, who reads and listens to what we understand, that the convenience of the ways that we're doing things is really not the best option, not only for our own human health, but for wildlife, pollinators, birds all around us. And
would
the
that take the
act-
deer out of my yard?
Do you have deer?
Oh, yeah,
Well,
and they go to the bathroom a lot.
you do. It's
And deer
because
ticks
their
probably too.
habitat
Yeah.
has been taken from someplace else. That's right. So
I watched the meeting, I don't know if anyone else saw it, Pelham Manor meeting last week about the leaf blower law, about the local law for the leaf blowers. And I saw Dominic Ragno's presentation, which I found really compelling as far as he's trying to do all these things, and he has electric leaf blowers. Then he went in to describe that the industry just really isn't there yet to meet the needs. But
not for a replacement of
Right.
the same
Right.
practices.
Right.
He was saying
Right.
batteries.
Right, the batteries. But I think this is a good step in like a direction that I think we all recognize we need to go in, especially if we want to save the planet.
I mean, the thing I would point out too is there's 11 different steps. So we're
Right.
not asking everybody to commit to doing
Right,
every single
immediately,
one.
right.
We're not asking the town for a leaf blower ban, we're not asking people to stop mowing their lawns. But
Right.
if you plant natives, if you mow high, if you
Right.
just take 2 or 3 of these steps,
It makes
that's at least the beginning.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're asking residents to consider, not to do everything all at once.
Right. So I would just say maybe we can talk to Dom and see what are the things on this list that he can help us do, you know, on the town property.
Well, I think he pretty much explained himself in that Village of Pelham Manor meeting. And
Yeah, no, he
I
did, and he
and I
does,
did
he's
watch it,
making
and he
a-
talked about all the things that can't get done right away.
Right.
So I think Dominic is very much,
Well, that's a good thing for us,
Yeah,
because
for sure.
if he's our vendor,
right.
then it's a good thing that he's thinking the same way.
Yeah.
But he's thinking that you can't do it all at the
Right.
the speed, like
Obviously,
for
you
instance,
can't
the batteries you can't even get.
Mhm.
Right,
and-
well, the plantings are easy.
Yeah, the plantings are easy, the mowing, the grass, you know,
Um,
4 inches high.
So did the Village of
Mulch,
Pelham,
village
did
barn.
the Village of Pelham endorse this at their meeting? They made a
Yes, they
resolution?
did.
Excuse me?
They did not pass a resolution, but
Not
they
yet?
did endorse it. No, they said it wasn't necessary to pass a resolution. I asked that specific question.
And are
But they gave us the
Excuse me?
go-ahead.
taking some of these steps?
I think you have to
as
if you're gonna
If you
give,
could
if
give
they've
them-
asked them money.
Well, they're not giving it because they asked you to give half. So there you go.
That's
Do
why.
you know about it?
That's-
No, they're committed to us carrying out this campaign village-wide, and we're asking the town for your stamp of approval, so we would like the money, the
Oh,
money
he asked
would be
for it.
good,
That's why I have to do a resolution.
But we can get the stamp of approval to put on our brochures that the town's behind encouraging these types of
Stamp of approval,
sustainable
no money.
practices among residents. I'll let you duke it out with Chance for the money.
We never took it out. We never took it out.
Anyway, I mean, it's a step-by-step process.
Got it.
It's not an all-at-once kind of thing, but we just would like the town's approval to.
It's hard
Any other
not,
questions?
it's hard not to be in favor of it. I mean, you look, it's hard not to be in favor
Agreed.
of it.
I've
Right.
seen a hummingbird twice in my backyard this year.
Yeah,
So,
and my husband's into birds, so everything out in my backyard has to do with birds,
Right.
nesting,
Right.
and woodpeckers, and they're all over my yard, so
Mhm.
I understand it. I just think it's gonna be very slow,
Sure.
you know, but it's hard to be against the philosophy of it and the
Agreed.
goals of it, so you kinda look dumb if you don't support it.
Agreed.
I think the village did purchase leaf mulching to go with their lawn mowing equipment. So
Yeah, I think down there
So that's just like.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have many more
properties, you know, so
properties.
that's like-
Yeah.
They might
They
not
also
be
have a
going all
department that does it.
electric.
Yeah, they have a whole department they can control.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not even necessarily asking for the town to commit to doing this on its own property right now,
Right,
is to just
that's not the
encourage
idea.
residents to
Any,
participate.
any other
in
questions?
No, I think
Just have one thing to think about. Have you talked to like the Pelham Country Club? Because I think they are very into sustainable and they try to use the natural
They won an award this year.
herbicides.
Yeah,
and-
they won an
yeah,
award.
I
They
would
won
talk
an-
to them and see what, I mean, we're talking about a lot of
All the
space
stuff
in
that-
Pelham, right?
Sure.
All the stuff they did, they used like 40% less chemicals. They won a national award.
And they have like
Um,
the bird things
Yeah.
and
Oh, that's
whatever.
great.
Well, but the all the renovations they did, they
Yeah.
changed 6 holes. You mean Andy?
Yeah.
You know from Andy. And they won a national award for using.
Yeah.
40%
So
less
maybe they
water?
would partner as
Uh,
well.
and chemicals.
Absolutely. The Board of Ed,
Right,
all of it.
right, there you go,
It's really,
yeah.
it's significant. Right now, Pelham Manor has been enforcing the leaf blower, law. My weekends are awesome. Really.
They're doing it in the village.
Yeah, we don't hear them
Yeah.
anymore either.
It's,
I hear workers on Saturday.
Well, you don't have leaf blowers because there's no leaves down.
But
He
yeah,
still
but they
blows.
still
Wait
do
till
it.
October,
No,
November
no,
come
he still
along.
blows
I
the
still use them, but mine doesn't use gas. He uses
electric, yeah.
or battery, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They had to switch. They'll get tickets.
Well, even the
Actually,
stuff
we'll
that,
get the
even the
ticket.
chemical stuff that goes on your lawn, we had, the man who used to do it had to switch. That's why we use your guy, I think we use the same guy now. It couldn't be the same chem-turf or whatever they called it. It had to be something natural, or else you get a fine for
I
it.
think it's just really, trying to get people just to be a little more thoughtful and to really just question, like, well, why am I blowing in July, August, right? What's the goal here? And I'm not convinced that the goals are always in line with the practices. So, this has been coming for about more than a decade, and landscapers know they are part of an industry, they are part of professional organizations, and they know the trends that are changing, and it's really up to them to make those changes and to accommodate us. As any professional, we've had to be very clever, and we've proven how resilient and ways that we can make changes.
Agreed. Well, thank you very much. It was a very good presentation without the PowerPoint
Thank you.
stuff, and you do very well at that. Can we hire you?
So there's a list of websites if you
Oh,
wanna look at what
resources.
other towns are doing, and also the Village of Pelham Sustainability Advisory Board Facebook page. We have a video up of the transformation of the traditional yard
Thanks, Don.
that we showed you earlier.
And-
But please take a look.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I still have those food scrap containers in my garage, so when you're ready and you're ready.
My
So
wife,
does
my wife.
Mora has mine.
You heard my wife.
phrase. I meant, of course, again, I meant to bring it
She's
tonight.
on the fence.
She runs it.
She's a little.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me talk to Chance,
Okay.
Well, let's-
and we'll come back and talk.
Yeah, I
We
think,
do September meetings.
yeah, great idea, we can tell them.
Sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Good
you.
seeing you again.
Enjoy the music.
Thanks. All right, so let me find out more from Chance, and I'll come back. And we'll
Yeah,
talk.
that's,
Okay. approval of the minutes. Did everybody get the minutes and was everybody able to print them?
I didn't print them, but
I
have
got them and they were fantastic.
Yes,
They
they
were
are
very, very
wonderful.
Why do you not know one councilman's name?
What's that? What did I do? No, it's spell check, I'm sure.
It's spell check, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Please don't, I corrected it for
Perfect. That was all I saw though. And of course, that just, jumps out at you.
I missed it, actually.
So did
I
I.
missed it too,
So did I.
Sorry.
So
but
did
they
I.
they're beautiful, Molly.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the
So moved.
minute of July 12th?
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay. So for there's a lot, we don't have a lot on the agenda for today.
Oh, do we have anything on the agenda? I'm sorry.
And there has been.
Usually we don't have an August
I
meeting.
was just gonna say that. In the
Is that
past,
right?
sometimes we've actually skipped
Nobody
the
ever
August
seen it.
meeting because people go on vacations and so on and so forth. But we do have to talk about vaccination and testing, and so we're gonna have to get to that, and I believe we're gonna have to have an executive session. So
Yes.
Yes,
why don't we get the,
quickly go through.
Deputy Supervisor Samansky on the fly car information.
Okay, so for the month of July, there were a total of 70, I can add, 7 and 6 is 13. You have to forgive me, 73 calls, 37 in Pelham, 36 in Pelham Manor, 2 calls on 95, 6 calls on the Hutch. The average response time with a backup ambulance was 7.58 minutes, which is good. That's better than it has been. So maybe our little meeting helped a little.
It was a big meeting.
It was a big meeting, and 60% of the calls were answered in 6 minutes and under. I had personal experience with them on Thursday, and I have to tell you from start to finish, they were professional, wonderful, kind, and efficient. We did wait a little extra and they apologized to me, but that was okay. There was an incident that Chief Benquith told me about over the weekend where they had to wait a significantly long time for the ambulance. It had to come from Croton or Ossining. There was a problem with communication at Empress between the site dispatcher and the ambulance itself. They wanted to restock. He said yes, then the call came in. So he should have taken them off their restock to go to the backup call. Am I making sense?
Yes.
They didn't. It's been corrected. Everybody has been re-instructed. And I got back to Chief Benquith and he was fine with that. So he will keep me informed on all
Good.
issues, I am sure. The only other thing I wanted to bring up is my neighbor had this on her door, okay? This comes from Westchester County. It's especially made for people who live alone. And you know how Callie and they keep that senior list of shut-ins?
Yes.
It's kind of like that, so that if you do have to call 911 and you can't talk or there's nobody with you, all of your information is in this packet. So she thinks she gave them to Callie a year ago, but that was in the middle of COVID. So I was like, I think I'll just take them and we'll give them to Callie again. And she can bring them to seniors,
Yep.
citizens, and she has it on her front door. But you could put it on your inside door, and then everything was
Absolutely.
filled out. So I thought it was a great idea, so I brought them in to send over to Rec.
Y'all want me to take him to
Yeah,
Cali?
that would be great, thanks, Tim.
I have one quick thing on the fly car. It
Yes.
came up actually yesterday.
Yes,
There's actually been 2 incidents in the last month at Pelham Country Club where they needed a fly car to come.
okay,
And they have a hard time finding where to go because it's actually on the golf course. It might be worth a meeting.
at the country club?
I mean, I don't know, on a Zoom call with, for 10, just to educate these guys. I don't know the best way to do it. The guy wasn't in today to talk, but, there was a call the other day, they needed help at the halfway house. And the Empress guy wanted to know why there was a drug rehab facility on the Pelham Country Club. No, that's where the
Okay, but
snacks
it-
are
That
served.
is
No, no,
not-
Yeah,
no, it's
yeah,
hilarious, but just, there's two different, my point is, there's two different worlds.
Correct.
One of the things, a guy got hit with a golf ball on the golf course.
Yeah.
And then someone got sick and they were at the, and the halfway house, which is better accessed by Mount Tom. I know the cops came by where the pool is and they drove on the cart path the whole way out. And I was actually there, and the fly car went around, came there and then went around.
Okay.
So I don't know if the fly car was slow or it was the ambulance or they're both.
No, but it's,
I don't know.
but
about
it's a
the
good
details.
point. So whoever gets assigned here really needs to know.
And it's so
the
close. I mean,
egress and-
if
Yeah,
they're at the at the village of Pelham Manor and they're going down, all they need to do is go
I'll
down
call,
Mount
call
Tom.
Scott tomorrow
Okay.
and see how he wants to handle it.
Okay.
Okay, he was at our
Yeah,
meeting.
it's just I don't think
That's a
they
good
did
point.
anything wrong. I just
Yeah.
think it is
Get familiar with it.
it's-
Well, it happened at Glover Field a couple of times, remember? Because they went into Mount Vernon and came back around, they couldn't get in because he wasn't there, they didn't know where to go on a football game, remember that?
Yeah.
A football game,
But
yeah.
I think that they're now, they have the same people.
It's pretty steady.
And they have a better,
Even if you want to take a couple of the guys and take them, for a
Navigations.
10-minute tour on a golf cart ride around the country club,
that's important.
just because it happened twice.
Yeah,
In the
that's a
last
good
month.
idea, I think it's a good idea. I'm gonna call Scott
It's a
tomorrow,
great idea.
thank you.
Great idea.
I will follow, and I'll let everybody know in an email what the plan is,
Okay.
okay?
Sounds good.
Thank you, Tim, that's good.
Okay. Councilman Case, Recreation.
So recreation continues to do well. They didn't have many events canceled in July despite their record rainfall. Seems like all the rain was at night and on the weekends.
Weekend,
So men's softball did suffer a little bit, but everything else continued to run along smoothly. Summer camps will end in 2 weeks, so that's coming to a quick end.
Wow, it's
Yeah.
over, that's
Yeah,
over.
and they're ramping up the fall programs now. Last spring when we were all together, Dan, when we visited Hutch, we talked to the school about bringing back the Fields Committee.
Right.
And they've kind of instituted something along that line, where the school and the rec department are gonna get together once a season and talk about
Perfect.
ahead of time what's going on. I said if there's any major issues, one or more than one person from the board can come, but as long as you guys are having the meetings and everything's going well. So last week, Mike and Diane did meet with the athletic director and Mr. Condon and Jim Rickey. And the meeting went well. Our relationship with the school continues to be at all-time highs. They're doing a lot of things to help us out. As of right now, we're gonna have access to all the schools after school this year. And they are actually moving their trying to tighten up their fall schedule so we have more access for the fields.
Can I ask a stupid question? Is Hutch opening?
Hutch is
in
opening.
Okay.
Hutch is opening
I
on
I
time.
haven't seen anything,
We won't have.
like grand
We
I
won't
haven't
have
seen
access
anything.
to the field won't be ready and the gym won't be ready
Okay.
for us.
Oh,
I don't know
alright.
whether they're using
But
it or
the,
not.
but the
But
classrooms,
this-
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that is
Yeah,
ready to go.
the grand opening is, September 9th, I
Oh.
think.
okay.
Yeah, so the school and the rec continue to work great together, so it's good.
I think the relationship with the school and the rec is the best it's ever been.
Yes, for
I
sure,
agree.
for sure. So Rudy and I met with Joe Durnan and Chief Benquith about the 9/11 ceremony, which always takes place at 8:30 on September 11th. This is the 20-year anniversary,
Which is a Saturday.
which is a Saturday morning.
Ah.
Joe and the chief are both very prepared, and they have 99% of it under control. We're gonna have the rec guys set up and take down the podium and the chairs that day, because Felix won't be around, and they're gonna also stream it on Facebook Live.
The sound system,
They're gonna get it from the Legion, the one that they use for the parade.
thank you.
They're also possibly planning a candlelight vigil for that night, but the last time, the 15-year anniversary, I believe the Interfaith Council did that, so Joe is gonna contact them to see if they're planning on doing anything for the 20th. And that's all I have.
I got an email from Mike asking about a pickup truck.
What?
Oh, yes. Forgot about that.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, if you, I mean,
Well,
go
but I haven't responded.
okay,
I'm gonna sit down with Phil.
yeah, I forgot about
But they used to use the van, and since the van is out of commission or gone,
Oh, like for equipment?
Yeah.
And then
Ah.
he used to borrow like his uncle's
his
truck.
uncle's.
Yeah.
That's right, I forgot about that, yeah.
And
He did send it.
I
so
didn't
he
think of
sent
that.
me an email, and I haven't sat down with Phil yet, but he said basically what I just said. So I told him I would get back to him.
Okay.
And hold on one second. Oh, here it is. Since the Ford van is out of commission for good, I was wondering if there's any chance we can look into get a pickup truck to replace that. I really need one, especially for when we have to move the rec soccer goals and lacrosse goals to different fields. They don't fit in the vans. In the past, I borrowed my uncle's pickup, but he doesn't have that anymore. So I'll sit down and talk to him.
Is there,
Is there an auction? Is it gonna be buy from someplace else?
I mean, I don't know how often they need this, I mean, is it something we could borrow the school's trucks for an hour every 3 weeks? I mean, I don't know,
Great idea.
Good point.
you know, there's, you know, both villages have trucks, you know, the school has the.
You and I will talk to him.
Yeah, no, I
Just
just,
sign like a license agreement to use it
Yeah.
these specific
yeah,
times
let's,
every
I'll
Protection.
find out
year,
from Mike
you
how
know?
often he needs.
Okay.
That's, I should have thought of
That,
that.
would be really working together.
Hand in hand.
Yeah, it'd be,
Might
that would
be-
be a nice thing.
Might be an insurance issue of who drives it, I don't know, we'll
This-
find out.
Yeah.
Listen, at the last, at the school board meeting, Cheryl actually said my name, because I was sitting in the audience, and how well we were working together with recreation.
Wow,
And that, it wouldn't have happened 15 years ago.
that
I
wouldn't
can
have
tell you
happened, that's right.
that. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Could I ask Tim a question about the fields? And this is probably just really silly, but I was just talking to a couple people recently. We always get frustrated that we get the, practice schedules very, very late, and people are trying to plan their fall, their kids', activities.
Yeah,
And, so travel soccer, for example, we won't find out until like the week before, and it's, school's already started and you've already signed up, right? And I guess I just wondered, like, how much do things change year over year? Like, couldn't they just mostly put in the same schedule,
is that,
Yeah,
I'll find out, I mean,
like, do they have a spreadsheet which shows what they
That's
did, and like, how
travel.
really different is it gonna be? And could we get a little bit ahead of it? People are
well,
always
it
just
sounds,
going
it sounds like
crazy.
from what Mike said today, they're working on the schedules.
Okay,
and
great,
they're trying,
great.
cause what used to happen in the past is they would block out from 3:30 to 8 o'clock. And they would tell the varsity coaches, JV coaches, hey, use whenever you want, discuss it between yourselves. And some from 6:30 to 8 wouldn't be used
Right,
some nights, and then, sometimes it would be from 5:30 to 7, so they're saying, oh, listen, you gotta be out by 6:30 now, so we can have it, so I think it
Okay.
should be better. I mean, last year was an anomaly because of
Yeah,
COVID, and
yeah.
because all 3 seasons were, especially in the spring, everything was packed
Oh,
in, because
God,
they did
that's
football in the spring, and then, then they tried to do, baseball baseball and lacrosse right after, and they packed everything in twice, so,
But let me ask you a question, Tim. Travel soccer, we don't schedule.
no, but we probably give them the fields.
We give them
Yeah,
the
we
fields, but they
always
would
have to
have to
wait.
turn around and
But
do
they might
the-
not know when they have the fields, is what I
that,
think
they
the
always,
issue.
Diana Gombrach tells me we're always waiting for the fields from the rec department, what the
And the rec is
schedule
waiting for
looks
the-
like.
and the rec is
And the
waiting
rec
for
is
the
waiting from the school,
All right, yeah,
right,
so-
exactly.
Alright, I'll ask about that, because I
So
think,
everybody's online.
I think it's more, I think it should be more
No,
tightened up.
everybody's
going
in line. They
Right.
can't be online. They
Lockstep.
have to be in line.
In line.
forward. In line, because they're online.
My
Thought you were a
s-
I thought you were a math
My
major.
son-in-law taught me that. You can't be online, you have to be in line. Anyway, okay, thank you. Councilwoman Burke, court.
Great. Forgive me, I'm very tired. I was up at 4 a.m. watching the women's soccer
Oh, they lost.
loss. I'm very tired. Okay, so I'm gonna do the court update. So I received information from Justice Kagan. They're looking into doing the records retention. They've called the Office of Court Administration. They're trying to work on that. This Pretrial Services Institute of Westchester, I guess they're gonna do a presentation for them on monitoring options available instead of bail. Ankle monitors, home monitors, phone monitoring. I guess they don't use that a whole lot here, so they are investigating that. The court is going to be closed for 2 weeks of August, I guess, which is pretty typical. And then a week in September, I believe they're doing a training, but they said the schedules are all managed and everything's under control.
Well, what does closed mean?
Closed.
Does that mean their employees don't go there or don't come to work?
There's no court for 2 months, for 2 weeks.
No hearings, no actual court sessions?
No court.
Oh,
Staff is here,
Oh.
no court.
Good
that,
point.
that, I was just checking, I didn't
Yeah,
know what
well,
that
no,
meant.
you're right.
However-
Except the week in September, they
yes.
are going, the staff are going to training programs.
Oh, well, that's a
Right.
different story.
That's-
That's okay, that makes sense.
But the 2 weeks in August are also for people to take their vacations, so, you know, they'll stagger them, I assume. The eviction moratorium is coming to an end in New York, August 31st, so they assume the landlords are gonna be trying to come into court as soon as possible. So they're gonna have to deal with probably a lot of logistics with that. And I think, I did have a follow-up with him regarding the grant, I guess. Did he say he talked to Philip and we can get an extension? We're probably not gonna finish the project before September 5th, but we can get an extension, but we just can't seek another grant until we use this. But I think it's in progress, and this is for the security upgrades
That's correct.
on the doors. I think that is it. The only
So-
other small thing is I had read in one of these town government magazines that the Department of Environmental Conservation has like grants for cars, for like electric cars, and I sent that info to Justice Gardner and Kagan. Justice Gardner was excited, so I think they're gonna be, I don't know. Looking
I
into
didn't
that.
see that because I would like to see that. Can you send that to me?
Yeah, it was not
Is it
this,
this
not
one?
this most recent one. I think
Yeah,
it was the one before
before.
that. I kept it. I'll get
That
it
would
for
be
you,
May,
yeah.
June.
Are the
Um,
articles in that magazine also on their website? Because I always carry that around to read it and
Never get to it.
it always happens.
What was the question?
Are these articles on their website?
you-
On
Probably.
their
We can
website,
share it.
probably, yes.
Probably.
Yeah, so then we can easily share it.
I don't know if you've seen the front doors of the court, but I passed them on Saturday, and it looks like a bulletin board in somebody's house. They had, I took 2 of them off, actually. They had 2 same posted, one on the window, one on the door, and another on the window for another poster, same thing on the other door. And it looks like hell. So I took the double ones off.
And these are for COVID, Dan?
One is for COVID and one is for payment, which I don't know
right.
why they need to put that on the door. Why not have it inside the lobby when the court is there? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, walk by there and
Yeah,
look. It
I
looks like
will.
hell.
It's terrible.
It looks like hell.
We need an easel or something that we could put out in
Yeah,
the
but
morning
I,
and take in at
I don't disagree because it says what you have to do if you want to walk into this building, which,
Yeah.
by the way, we don't have any on the front door, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But putting up the payment thing, plastered onto the window, I mean, what are we, a 5 and dime store?
Right.
You know,
It really is, it's unsightly.
Terrible.
You're right, like an easel with like a poster board with
Yeah,
any
that would be
pertinent
better.
information,
Right.
you know?
It just, do me a favor, walk by and look at it when you
Okay,
get a chance,
yeah.
and you're gonna sit there and say, we got some beautiful old doors that we're
Yeah,
trying to refinish,
Save.
and we got, anyway.
And they don't take it down when court's over, they keep it up.
No, it's been up.
Dan,
It's been
there
up.
is a sign at the top of the steps that says you have to be masked.
There is?
Yeah.
Okay,
On
good.
a
All
bulletin
right,
board
good,
here.
good. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I just,
All right.
No, well, if we're talking about aesthetics, that's important too.
Yeah.
We're talking about lawns, we should be talking about the beautiful 100-year-old doors that are on
Right.
there. It's the same thing.
okay, thank you.
The only, I did not have any court, receivables, so I don't know if there were none.
I only got one.
Okay.
I didn't get them from both.
Okay. Could I do it next month?
Yeah, next
Yeah,
week,
Both
Yeah,
at
we
the
do
same
that,
time,
yes,
right?
yeah.
Okay. And then the only other thing I have is the July, receiver of taxes monthly statement. So for county count taxes 2021, received $47,739.49. Penalties and interest in an amount of $3,094.14. Liens in the amount of $40,579.59. Miscellaneous, 447 received. Pro ratas received $1,762.80 for a total of $93,623.02.
That's a lot on liens.
I know, I was wondering the same.
Probably one just big one, I would think.
Wondering
Yeah.
the same.
I would guess.
Good for us. Okay,
Or maybe not.
thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman Burke. Councilwoman Curtin.
Thank you, Supervisor Clough. I don't have a lot to report on the library. It's summer, there's not a ton going on. It's operating, it's open. Summer hours are, really just Saturday, 10 to 1 is the big summer hour deficit. I wanted to just mention quickly that, just sent these all to you, at the start of the meeting, but Senator Biaggi has created a series of flyers and she's been canvassing the whole district. She's gone to all the businesses in the village of Pelham and maybe Pelham Manor at Four Corners, but basically what's available in the New York State budget. So some folks have already applied for federal, like the CARES Act and the relief, but this is money in the state budget for rent relief, for tenants, for small business owners, for restaurants, for undocumented workers who weren't eligible for other benefits, and she's been handing out that information. So I can put it up on our website too to let people know what's available to them, and then we can share it in our next newsletter. But there's a lot of money in the budget basically for these folks, and with the rent moratorium coming to an end, they should be aware that there's help if they need it. And then the only other item was the child care survey that we did. And the district sent out an email last week with the two folks, Junior Wonders and the Pelham Children's Center. There will be a program at Hutchinson this year, which is amazing because they still don't even have a floor plan available or a C of O, and they probably won't have that until August. But they're working with the director of the Children's Center to make sure that they can have the program there.
That's great.
As an update, he met with Hickey today and Steve, and he's getting drawings
Good.
that he can use, only him confidentially, to send to the health department. So he
Good.
thinks Steve thinks he's on top of it.
Great, so that's good news. And I will be adding that information to the website this week.
See, one of the things that we talked about during the meetings that we had, the Zoom meetings, is that, and Mary Ann was one of those people that I was thinking about, because a lot of people don't know that we have the Children's Center. A lot of people don't know that we have Junior Wonders or whatever it's called. I always play
That's what
for
it's
it.
called.
Play-
Yeah.
So in the end, what we did agree to is let's put that out there so everybody knows on the school website, and she did a good job of it, and we're gonna put it out there, almost like we're advertising for them. And then if they find that they get overloaded, then we'll go back to looking to open up another school or not. Because right now, the Prospect is not used and Colonial is not used, only Simonoy and Hutch. So we decided, all of us decided that we'd send out all that information, be the advertiser for the two people, and then if they get overwhelmed, then we'd relook and see if we needed to put a program in Prospect. So that's kind of how it ended up. Yeah, and I think it worked out very well,
Yes.
personally.
Good
And-
work.
Anything
Yeah.
else?
That was all I
Okay.
have. This has been a slow last time we met was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's-
I know.
Well, that's why sometimes.
That's what happens.
We don't
with
have the
holiday
August
in there,
meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, so unfortunately, there's been an uptick in cases of COVID. Actually, there's about 1,100 now in Westchester, that versus like 98 a month ago. And there's been 38 hospital versus about 10 previously. So as a result of everything that's going on, the Latimer had a meeting on Friday, a conference call with all of us, and what they are doing in the county case is, again, everybody who comes into any county has to have a mask, okay? If you are a worker and you are vaccinated, you do not have to wear a mask when you're working. If you are a worker in the Westchester's government and you are not vaccinated, you have to wear a mask. And they're gonna start getting tested, I don't know, on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis, something we're gonna have to talk about later. And, if you're in a public area, whether vaccinated or not vaccinated, you have to wear your mask.
That's a county rule now.
That's a county rule, starting September. Now, CDC, this is what happened today in the phone conversation. They don't follow the CDC, they follow the New York State health regulations. If New York State may follow the CDC recommendations, but New York State dictates down to us what we need to do, not CDC, okay? So, anybody who's not vaccinated has to wear a mask. And if they're not vaccinated, we're gonna have to set up a program of how they get tested, when they get tested. And, did you say to me just now,
Metro North just sent out an email to all its employees. You must get vaccinated or you have to have weekly testing.
so we have some people on staff here that are not vaccinated. And we're gonna have to need to talk about how we're gonna do this. So, any questions on that?
This is just personal, has nothing to do with the rest of the people on the board. But I read an article this morning that 99% of the hospitalizations and the cases are the Delta variant in the non-vaccinated people.
Right.
If that doesn't prove, personal opinion, not the board's opinion, my personal medical background, if that doesn't prove you need a vaccination, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
But
But talking about that, by the way, just reminded me, for eligible people in Westchester County, we have an 80% vaccination rate,
well, that's good.
for the eligible people,
For 18 and older, I think,
Right,
right?
yes.
It's still catching up.
for 18 and
with the
older,
12 and
correct.
older, Yeah.
I think if the FDA pushes it through and gives full approval,
I
it will
agree.
help another 10%, maybe
I
more.
agree.
And the younger population where parents are scared, I think it will help that population if the FDA just gives its full approval, which I did see this morning Pfizer's fast-tracked in. So that should come very soon.
That's huge.
Just for awareness, the town library, all the staff wears masks when they're out publicly facing, the public.
That's
And if they're vaccinated, they can take their mask off in the back when they're working in their office. And if they're not vaccinated, they're required to wear a mask. And they've all been told that information and.
And the county said also that if you're vaccinated, you don't need to wear it in the, you must wear it in the
Common
Common
area.
spaces, yeah.
but, even if you're vaccinated.
You made just a good point. This phone conversation that I had Friday, I had Ruth Ann on and I had
That was
Tom
good.
on. And the three of us have come to the same conclusion, but I just wanted to have
That's good, that's good.
to have both of them
Yeah.
on, and they were able to do that
Good,
for me.
good.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Ruth Ann. Anything else on that? Okay, I don't have anything further, but I do need to request to move into executive session to discuss a personnel issue. Do I
So
have a motion?
moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. That's for you. That's for you.
It would be great for you to take
Yeah.
one. You can get them from the county.
I'm just curious what the information is though, because I always get nervous about like what personal
I
information
think
you
it's
have.
medication.
So
It's
maybe it
probably-
should be on